Iconoclast Speaks.
Hello and welcome to the Iconoclast Speaks. I'm the Iconoclast, and with me is Dadbod again. And we're still wearing the same shirts from last time.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yep.
My skunk beer.
Skunk beer. Actually, the back says UTI too.
Yeah, UTI IPA. And IPA.
Oh, really? That's what it's called?
Yeah,
Nice.
UTI.
I've never tried it.
It's not real.
Oh, it's not?
It's fake. It's fake.
Oh.
It's actually the beer from the Disco Ballman comic book.
Oh, really?
So if you want to get the Disco Ballman comic book,
Oh, it's
pick it
funny-
up. Skunk
funny
beer
I should
is
have
one of
mentioned.
the things, and they sponsor us occasionally.
Skunk beer.
Yeah, skunk beer. It's
Or
what,
Disco
it's
Ballman.
what, well, Disco Ballman's dad drinks skunk beer,
Oh, okay.
and he's very specific about which kind. And it's not the IPA.
Oh, okay. He doesn't like it.
It's the lager.
Oh, okay.
So there's all different kinds of skunk beer.
Nice.
And my wife actually came up with the name.
It's pretty funny.
Because, like, you know, when you do comics and stuff, you can't use
Oh, right.
real
Yeah. That makes sense.
without getting in trouble.
Got it.
So we have a whole line.
Like
we have
Duff.
we have like a coffee shop. And we got like it can't be Starbucks.
Right.
It's Moonstag.
Moonstag.
Yeah. So I mean, there's all kinds of fun little things. But anyway, we're going to talk about history this time.
Yeah.
Get in depth. Historical things.
Learning about history.
Yeah, learning about.
Not so much about history in general,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be tested on facts.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
know
I'm going to say
history
something
now.
wrong if we start talking about real history.
Yeah.
But
But it's a good. It's, what,
I like to learn about history.
Do you?
Sometimes. Specifically about just people.
All right, like
And like their
individuals.
accomplishments. Yeah. Because it's you know, you hear a lot about people who are pieces of shit, and it's easy to kind of
Say yeah, they
get
were.
caught up and say, oh, you know, all people are assholes and this
Yeah.
is rah. But you know, like when I was in the army, we had to memorize the stories of the soldiers who won the Medal of Honor from my unit.
Okay.
And that was pretty motivating.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
liked it a lot. It was something. At first, I didn't like it because it was like, oh, there's something else I got to memorize.
Yeah.
But hearing the stories is, you know, you kind of think about people who are doing things that are amazing, and it doesn't have to be like super distant future, distant past.
Yeah,
But just like if you're, you know, feeling a little unmotivated, and you can hear about some people doing some pretty amazing things.
Yeah. Well, I found like I mean, I don't want to besmirch anyone who's dead, but I'm going
But we
to
will.
anyway.
Okay.
No, like Thomas Edison. You always hear about all the great things Thomas Edison did, and all the inventions, all the things. And then when you actually read about his life and the history behind him and what he did, a lot of times he was just a jerk and a tool.
Oh, nice.
And like if you and Nikolai Tesla and the feud they had going on, and how like in the in days, you know, Edison was a millionaire and Tesla was basically a pauper because of Edison.
Oh, wow.
Like,
That does sound like an
yeah, and getting all these things, but like, and Tesla had amazing ideas, and you know, it would have been his thing was that it was the mindset was different. Like if you're like Edison was really about inventing things, and that would help the world, but at the same time he was about making the buck off it. Whereas Tesla was more about he had great,
change the world.
he wanted to change the world and make it better for everybody and free. Like his idea was to make electricity free, like a way to get it that it was free for everyone. And he had a way to do it, and it got squashed because the government got involved, and they had to deal with Edison. And they're like, we can make money off of this, and so obviously they're going to go with the way that's going to make money.
Yeah, they and then it's actually I was thinking about with the free electricity, they're also trying to do free internet. I know, but because I think, but they do that because they can make money off
Through
of
ads.
the use of the internet, right? So that makes them money if you can use the internet. That's not the same. It's not as selfless.
Not as altruistic.
Yeah.
But I know, like my son loves history.
Yeah.
Like he was really into like, he's into the wars. He likes learning about like Civil War and World War I, World War II, and
Something
all
about
the players.
Something about finding out about. I don't know if it's just humans being obsessed with war, just in general, but I think war heroes are just
they're
awesome.
Yeah, they're
When you hear about like a war hero and you're like, man, like this guy, you know, charged the machine gun nests and
took it
just
out
all by himself and saved his whole unit and then died, and just like, man, I can barely wake up in the morning on time.
Now I mean, I don't want to say this wrong, but my Uncle Ken, who I'm named after, he was in the Marines during World War II, and he actually has 2 Purple Hearts and I think a Silver Star.
Oh.
And he actually was a war hero.
Nice.
And but he never talked about it. And it wasn't till like, I mean, he's in his 90s now, but my mom has a whole article about what he did and how he saved his unit over in the South Pacific. And
Is it like the citation from his award?
yeah.
Okay,
And it's
cool.
it's amazing.
That's
like
awesome.
what he did. He's like a Rambo.
Oh, wow.
Like took out like all these Japanese, stole a Jeep, all this, whatever, to save it is incredible.
Yeah.
And he got shot. And then a few weeks later, they sewed him up. He's fine. I guess I don't know the extension. Then he was in another thing, very similar thing. Did it again.
Wow.
Saved a bunch of people's lives. Got
That's
shot
awesome.
again. And then he went on. He came home after the war and he became the fire chief of Milwaukee. I mean,
wow.
he did a lot of cool stuff. Now another
And then look at you.
look at me. I'm,
You gotta live. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
I'm not living up to the name.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I am not a war hero.
That's the kind of thing. It makes you want to.
Similar. When I was living in Florida, I was
Okay.
playing paintball.
Okay.
Again, these little 12-year-olds showed up
And you
with
did you steal
semi-automatic.
someone's car?
No, semi-automatic. Automatic. No, they had automatic
yeah.
paintball. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Brrr," and they
Yeah.
took us out the first round. But then the second round,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that they were just standing. They had no plan. They just stood there and
Okay.
did this.
Yeah.
So then I talked to my guys. I was like, "Okay, you two go front, stay, but don't get hit. Just
Right.
let them know you're there."
Just keep like.
And
yeah.
then me and my other buddies flanked them, came up completely behind them, and took their whole
Nice.
team from behind.
Yes.
And then we shot them in the back of the head. They were mad thinking their own team shot them.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're standing like, no, we took you out. So in a way, I was a war hero.
I mean, pretty
See how I
much.
left up? Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now- and but I do have another funny story about World War II. Funny about
Funny.
World War II. But it involved my grandpa and my Uncle Ken and stuff. Mm-hmm. When World War II, like when Pearl Harbor happened, a few weeks before Pearl Harbor, my grandpa had broken his arm, or maybe a month, and it was during football season, and then he was going to play basketball, and he couldn't shoot with an arm in a cast, so he cut his cast off too soon, so his arm never healed properly, and so Pearl Harbor happens. Everyone was gun ho and list. We're gonna fight. Blah blah blah. And so he took like my Uncle Ken to join in the Marines, and they wouldn't take my grandpa because he had a broken arm and he couldn't hold the rifle properly. And so, but Uncle Ken got it.
Yeah.
And then he took his buddy who was engaged to his sister to I think it was the Army, and he got in. My grandpa did not. Then he took my Uncle Ezio into the Army Air Corps. My Uncle Ezio actually got into the Army Air Corps, and he was a bombardier. And he actually took photos, and a
From,
lot
like,
of
the-
so a lot
Nice.
of them are in history books.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's accredited Ezio Sergei,
go.
Sergei, I think is his name.
You get some of
And-
your camera skills from him.
Yeah, and so he got in there, but my grandpa never did. And so he got. If you ever saw Captain America in the first one where he keeps trying to
Where he
get
keeps trying to
enlisted,
get in, yeah, they won't
and
let him, yeah.
they're like, okay, we know who you are. Well, the same thing kind of happened to my grandpa.
really?
We're like, okay, Lewis, we know. Look, you can't get in, but we have a job for you. And he got into the War Department, and he ended up being a courier, and he was one of the couriers for the Manhattan Project.
Oh wow.
And so he was traveling back and forth, and so his history is pretty cool. He ended up being a courier and taking the plans all because it was being built in different places.
yeah.
And so he was currying different things, and he couldn't.
awesome.
My grandma had no idea what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
And then he couldn't tell.
Yeah, I couldn't
her.
tell her. Yeah.
And then finally, like when they dropped it, he's like, "That's what I was working on." So
And they were like, "Oh, really?
yeah.
well,
So you just killed millions of people.
yeah. Way to go."
Yeah.
No,
Well,
yeah.
It was a
I mean,
different
stop.
mindset. It was
Ended the war.
Yeah.
I mean,
it saved millions. It
Yeah.
killed millions, but at the same time, I guess they've calculated that it saved millions on both sides as well.
was that the Americans' math?
Yes.
Okay.
Saved millions. Saved millions
Like,
of
listen,
Americans.
guys. Listen, we did the math.
We did the math.
It was for the best.
It's for
We
the
decided.
best of you. And now look, everything cool is
Yeah,
made
well,
in
cool.
Japan.
I know. It's probably made in
Friends.
Japan.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Or Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea.
Someday North Korea. I guarantee someday we're gonna get stuff that says made in North Korea. It's gonna be cool stuff.
Maybe.
I am fascinated with history and people's, like you said, personal histories.
Yeah.
Like
People.
yeah,
history of
like
people.
Like what was that movie? That was recently with.
Oh, the World War II one
Yeah, well, there's
with the bomber.
well,
then he
Memphis
goes to, like, the
Belle
war
was
camp.
cool, but then
No, the ones where he goes to the war camp.
Oh yeah.
Unbreakable?
Unbreakable. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That
guy
was a good movie.
lifting
I
his
saw it in the
thing.
theater.
Yeah, I did.
It's good.
So good. And then there's another one that was recent too. The guy who refused to kill people.
Oh, Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, Hacksaw
I didn't
Ridge.
see that one. Was that good?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean,
Nice.
it's violent. All get out.
Oh, yeah.
I actually like the true stories better than Saving Private Ryan was awesome, but I think these ones, the ones about true stories,
Yeah.
real people, are way more fascinating. And
Yeah.
when you see them, you're like, wow, that's incredible. You know, even though it's based on they showed some real deals, but
Yeah. They're just humans too.
yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from them, but
But they're humans.
but we can do that stuff.
Yeah, but then
We
you
just have
wonder,
to- you just
will
have to-
you do that in those if
I
you're
don't
in
know.
that environment?
don't
Well, I
know.
see. I wonder. I mean, I'm fine taking out 12-year-olds at a paintball field,
Right.
but
Yeah. It's just crazy that
yeah.
during World War II, 19-year-olds were jumping out of airplanes and fighting for freedom,
yeah,
and
now,
they still do it.
yeah.
But they're also
Majority,
like people are like
19-year-olds are
Justin
eating
Bieber
Tide
and
Pods.
stuff, eating Tide Pods.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think that was really a thing. That was like
I think 2
three
people did it. Yeah.
Two?
Yeah,
it was-
and 2 of them died.
Really?
Well, someone died.
Somebody died?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. I think that's what
Jeez.
made it a big deal.
Ugh.
Either they died or ended up in the hospital.
So yeah, so not a lot of not gonna win a Medal of Honor for eating a Tide Pod and dying. But
What if you did it to save the other guys? Like, what if the terrorists had you and said, "We're gonna kill
the
you
Tide
to
Pod."
eat the Tide Pod," and you do it? Would
you
you?
fake it and then you like grab the guy's gun.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not there.
I'm not either. I'm not ready.
But yeah, people are awesome, and
And you can be awesome too. And
Yeah.
here's how. No, just kidding.
yeah,
No.
it's easy to kind of get caught up in how big of assholes everybody is.
Yeah.
So you don't realize that some people are pretty awesome.
Yeah. You're pretty awesome.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so what about you? Is there a historical figure that you think is really cool that may have been given a bad name or
Oh, yeah.
thought of, or even given a good name? People thought really highly of him, but then in the prism of history, you realize,
Christopher Columbus.
he may be not so good. Well, that's still
Maybe he's
debatable.
not super
Some
cool.
people liked him. Some people didn't. It depends on what side you're on that one.
I guess if you're Christopher Columbus or not, that's the only way to spin that one.
Well, I mean, there's people down in Puerto Rico. They love him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They must not know the truth.
Or Santo Domingo
Yeah.
in Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
They love them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They have big
Hey, we
parades
have a
for
holiday after him.
I know. I love them. Get a holiday.
Yeah, right. That's all I
Anyone
care
that can
about.
give me a holiday, I'm all for. Stop besmirching him. He gave you a holiday. Jerk.
I'm sure we could find somebody else to celebrate on
what-
that day.
what
We
have
could use
you-
the same day.
Well, no, it's his. What holiday have you given me? Nothing. Nothing. Jerk. All right. Well,
What
thanks
about
for
Veterans
stopping.
Day? Jesus.
Whatever. I don't. Fine. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.